Eric, I think 23 years on The Simpsons, King of the Hill, whole range. Basically, he is the man in animation. So we want to talk to him a little bit about his career, but also about this very special partnership coming up with Mogul and NFTs, which is great timing as well. So let's get Eric into the chat now. Welcome everybody for Mogul Live today. Any questions, a good question. Ask anything you like. Looking forward to having a great chat with Eric. So let's get him into the chat now. Let's see how we go. Again, great to see Tim, Richard, Michael, Marion. Great to see you guys coming in the chat. Again, Erick Tran. Eric, great to have you. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine. No problem at all. I was going to say we have quite a, I'll just put my volume. We've got quite a interactive audience. So during the chat at any stage, if you see a question you like or you just want to interact with any of the questions going along, go for it any time.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's exciting.
Just quickly, where have we got you from at the moment, and what are you working on this week?
Well, we're just cranking out more Mogis. It's just been nonstop since the moment that we sort of we've partnered together and joined forces. Our team has been extremely excited. It's a exciting time right now, obviously in crypto, and just I think just for every single artist who has been in the industry for so many years, and old guys like me who has been for over 2 decades in this thing, right?
No.
Absolutely.
Well, I was going to say, already Andrew's put a quick question in, list off the adult series you've worked on. I briefly mentioned, The Simpsons, obviously. I think there's so much to cover there. But, for anyone that's just jumping in, I mean, can you give us a quick rundown of your career?
Yeah, well, I started back in 1996. And I'm curious to know how many people here actually weren't even born yet.
I think we'll have both. I think we'll have one. We'll have some before and some after.
I know. We're like 1996. Wow, I wasn't even born yet. Well, yeah, thanks a lot. This is back in the day when we were still with paper and pencil. And we would animate the old-fashioned way, like the Disney way, just literally just paper. We would just draw and flip pages, and we have like a light table with a fluorescent lighting behind, and that's sort of what gives the able to see the translucence of of the drawings and how we can draw in sequence. Well, now it's all digital, right? So, and that going from traditional to digital happened when we were working on the Simpsons movie back in 2006. So then that's when we were like, okay, we need to figure out some faster pipeline. This is when we were actually using digital monitors, which we call like those Watkins antiques, right? And it definitely streamlined production. And that was, the director of that film, David Silverman, after coming from co-directing Monsters, Inc. over at Pixar, he came back to The Simpsons, and I was assistant directing for his episode when he came back from Pixar. And he brought this contraption, and like this monitor, but he had a stylus and he started drawing on it. It was revolutionary at the time. And I'm like, this is the future. Things were going digital. Now we're talking back like 2004, 2005, right? So I just saw how technology was going to change things in animation. Had zero clue that blockchain would take it to a different level where we are right now, right? And
that's another great conversation we can have as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing was, after working, with The Simpsons for so many years, I supervised on the Simpsons movie. I had the opportunity to work with many, famous celebrities that are on the show, right? I think the show has the record-breaking amount of celebrities on a single show, which is.
I agree. I think just about every single celebrity, and usually when they've hit their prime as well, I feel like that's when they get a cameo on The Simpsons. Is there anyone that you loved working with that came on? Any celebrities or talent that did a guest?
Yeah, I have to. Honestly, no offense to everybody else.
Okay.
It was truly special working with Tom Hanks.
And why was that? What was different about him?
Well, it's he's iconic. He's an iconic actor. Seeing his movies, I remember that movie Big. You
Oh yeah,
know,
of course.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that was like, yeah, I was, so I'm an 80s kid. So, the fact that, like, wow, he has an arcade and a Coke machine in his apartment.
Right.
That's like, that's amazing. That's cool. But yeah, I mean, it just like, he's an iconic actor, geez, Saving Private Ryan, the list goes on and on. And so he's a really funny guy in person, a phenomenal person. And so, yeah, I worked closely with him, on the Simpsons movie. Um, he appeared on the film, and so that to me was one of, it was a huge, huge honor.
Issues there, but I'm all good. I've got you here. I want to quickly, just before we move on from The Simpsons, two quick questions. And, for anyone that's jumping in the chat now, again, Erick Tran, we're talking with, is it 23 years with The Simpsons?
Yeah, because I've been sort of on and off. Sorry, I thought my AirPods were like our charge. They're kind of like, yeah, sort of switching here. Can you hear me okay, by the way? Just want to.
Yeah, your
Okay.
sound is perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so since '96, I did sort of, I sort of resigned from my full-time position in 2005, and that's when I really started kind of like pushing forward full-time with our company, Chavo Animation Studios.
Yeah.
So, but since then, I have sort of come back, been able to sort of still work on a few episodes here and there. Like, it would probably come in like maybe like 2 to 3 months, maybe,
Yeah.
per year. And, so still was connected. Like the Simpsons have been phenomenal. They're an amazing family. It's one of those things where you're just, you're part of the mafia, the yellow family here. You try to leave, but they lure you back in. But no, everything that I know about, animation has been from the show, which sets the bar, at a very high level.
Yeah.
And so,
I think it's a tremendous testament to yourself as well. I mean, to have that sort of, I guess, uh, basically timing, and also, to have that sort of experience on a show like that shows that you're doing something right, but they want you back is just huge.
yeah,
So I think
absolutely.
that's first of all. And just before we move on from that, again, more people coming in the chat right now. You can ask Erick anything you like. We're about to move on from the Simpsons, but my final question there is, do you have a favorite character on the show?
It's Krusty the Clown.
Krusty the Clown.
It's
Why is
Krusty.
that?
He's crazy. He's wacky. On every extremity, right? I mean, I guess that's sort of a character I relate to. I think a guy who's willing to sort of, just go into the deep end, into the world of animation and entertainment, right? Aren't we
Yeah.
all crazy?
No, I think it's a great extension. Andrew's put in a quick question. Have you ever met Bart? How many, the voice, the lady does
Nancy
Bart.
Cartwright.
Right. She does quite a few of the voices, doesn't she?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she obviously does Bart. She does Millhouse, Nelson, Ralph. Ralph is.
Yeah, he's got
characters.
some great, I think, great memories. Every so often I find that there's like just a couple of these lines that he puts in and you remember that for like years to come.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was oh geez, what was one of my favorite lines? It's like I have a friend and his name and he's a leprechaun and he tells me to burn things.
Yeah, I was thinking of the one where he says like he has that friend Snugglepuss. Refers, yes, that the teacher's like looking at, yes, of course he's outside, right? But yeah, great show, and congrats for again everything you've done there, and obviously
thanks.
that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And going into Chavo Studios, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, just to kind of sort of quickly sort of wrap up with Simpsons. One of the things is like one of the great things about animation is that that we kind of don't really think about. At the end of the day, people are like, hey, I want to buy Simpsons toy. There's Simpsons toys. There's memorabilia. There's the merchandising. Holy smokes, that's like the whole that's the bread and butter, I think, of any IP. And I've also had the opportunity, very grateful to, again, that was another life-changing experience for me, the opportunity to work with the guys over at Universal Creative on the theme park.
Right.
So the thing was, having the opportunity to work on special projects on the show, the film, a licensing merch, theme park attraction. It's like it made me realize, wow, there's just so much more to the world of of just apart from the show, right? So it really inspired me to kind of just wanted to explore more opportunities, in the video game space, in the theme park space, in the licensing and merch. It just goes on and on. So that's sort of where the hold on one second. I think I gotta switch my
Yeah, sure. It's live, so this is what's great about
I know,
it.
right? It's like technical little.
Anything can happen. Yeah, anything can happen.
I thought I had my AirPods charged, and they're like they're going one out of after another. Okay, so so that's what kind of like caused me to wanted to explore other possibilities in the industry. If you can imagine working on a show for 20 plus years,
Yeah.
I've seen kids being born in production, going into college.
Wow, that's a transition, right?
Right. That's kind of, and you're still in the same show, working with the same people. So I think it was like, and it's kind of ironic that it was actually technically it was 19 years. It was 19 years when 2005 when I actually left, and it was, if you remember, one of my all-time favorite films, Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, great film. Great
Andy
film.
Dufresne. Not to say that Simpsons was prison, but it took Andy Dufresne 90 years to actually crawl through the wall. Oh, they're gonna kill me. So,
No, I can see it though, because you've done time. You've done your time. So now it's time to go back out to the real world.
Exactly. So what I basically did, 19 years. Yeah, after 19 years, that's when I just felt like, I think it's time for something different. I think it's just for that next part of my career and building an animation studio. And that's the other thing too, that the most inspiring, the thing that really inspired me was, it was really the other artists. It was seeing other artists working different styles.
Yeah.
Other friends that are, on production, like, hey, like my buddy, Alex, he's like art directing on the Avengers films. Seeing his concept artwork, it just blows my mind. Guys like John Park, who, working on multiple films, The Mandalorian, etc., and other people who are working on, Batman series at WB, Kung Fu Panda movies, DreamWorks, et cetera, et cetera. And we're all friends. We're all like, sort of like interconnected in this really cool small community. And so kind of like that light bulb idea, it's like, hey, what if we just somehow collaborated together, and just started, just developing, creating, and, just new intellectual property, and have sort of Chavo be like a, on our spare time, it sort of became a place where we just sort of come along and just kind of like just put together ideas and build out, into, IPs that we would eventually sort of take to marketplace. And that's kind of how it started, and including myself and other handful of people on The Simpsons, right? And other shows and movies. So.
And what was the first project you guys did?
It was Urban Reggie. It's a show called, it's a project called Urban Reggie, which one day I know will have its its day in the light. Ironically, it's like it's the one show that we started that it's still, like in development, but it's sort of been like this baby that's sort of been nurtured and cooked together for a long time. But it has been our calling card. Like, wow, that show's really, hey, that show's really cool. What channel is it on? Well, it's not anywhere. It's just, it's just a concept that we put together, and, and like, wow, it looks great. Hey, we got a project over at MGM. Can you help us and work with us on et cetera, et cetera? And
no. What would be the roadmap if someone in the audience here wants to see Urban Reggie?
Well, that's the thing. It's so the IPs that we've been working on, so they're sort of like in the sort of an incubator stage right now, right? So they're just we haven't really fully released anything quite yet, because we have been we have been just really bombarded with work, collaborations. We've done already, like we've done 3 attractions over at Universal Japan.
Right.
These are like these are actual like roller coaster rides where you actually put on a VR headset.
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
and
Yeah.
so we kind of sort of co-develop the content that's in the VR headset as you're going through, with like 3 major IP where we're talking like the hottest like anime projects like Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan. The first one we did was with Doraemon, right? And so so we get projects like that. We have a really cool project that I cannot mention quite yet, but it's connected with MGM. And again, I have a really close friend. Again, still very connected with people over at Fox. So we work on special projects here and there. So we're sort of kind of developing pilots. We do a lot of, also one of the things we do is we've been developing a lot of like just presentation packages where I have a producer friend or a writer or it would be like independent, company that, hey, we got a really cool idea for animated, et cetera, et cetera. We'd love to kind of like pitch it to Netflix or take it, down the circuit. And we just don't have any artists or animators on staff. And so we sort of build out those packages.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I think Andrew has just chimed in with a great question based off that as well. I mean, time to do a Mogul animation film for the
yes.
metaverse. I think, again, we've got a nice announcement, or very exciting announcement to kind of talk about. What you're working on these different things. I mean, what made Mogul stand out, and what was your impressions with Mogul and wanting to work with what we're doing, considering you've got so many other great projects going on?
Yeah. Well, obviously it's through my very close friend, Cindy Cowan, which hopefully
She's
she's
great.
watching. Yeah. So I've known Cindy for years. And I mean, she is the type of person, producer, businesswoman. I mean, like, it's like if she tells me to jump, I'm like, I jump.
Yeah, sure. I
So
think,
she's like, yeah,
yeah,
right. So she was the one. He's like, Eric, I think I got a good one for you, and it's with Mogul. She's like, she's joined Mogul. And I'm like, oh wow, okay. If she's joined Mogul, then that's a big deal. Um, and so kind of going over the what the project was about. I instantly fell in love, and with it, and the concept was brilliant. And me, born and raised in LA, Hollywood, my backyard, didn't even like realize like the anniversary is kind of right. The 100th year anniversary is coming up. It's not
yeah.
Eric,
From the sign as well, where sounded like we're referring back to, yeah.
exactly. So I'm like, wow, it's like that's just brilliant. And then with the story that we're developing, right? It's like it's just it's everything that I feel like that we it's the things that has the longevity to, and oh my gosh, I mean, and then we're not even talking into the metaverse world yet, right?
Yeah. I
It's
think the future's shaping so fast at the moment, that there's some very, very exciting possibilities coming up. And if you can identify them and get in now, that's when it's going to be really exciting. So,
yeah, that like I was saying, yeah. So I think seeing what you guys are doing as well, and the basically like you know using cryptocurrencies as a way of funding projects is it's, I think it's revolutionary. It's I could see how you guys are sort of paving this way into this whole new business model, and those are the things that are exciting. It just as I was excited when we were using digital technology like for production. I feel like there are times where I kind of see the future, even like with Tesla, right? It's like, okay, things are going to get electrified. I see it, and that's where I
yeah,
put my money. I'm putting my money here on Mogul, and it's like, our not only just but our time, effort, resources, and what's really great is that everybody that's on the team feels exactly the same way,
yeah.
and so collectively, I really believe that it's just bound for success.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're so excited to get, someone of your caliber come and joining us. And at the same time, Cindy's a total professional. And what you've said is, what all the other people that we've connected with have said the same thing. And I think it's a great fit. We could talk a little bit about, I mean, if people have just joined us as well, Erick Tran. We're talking with. Ask him any questions you like. But it's these Mogis. Did you want to maybe share for our audience here just what's it all about, and what are you excited about with these Mogis?
Yeah, well, Mogis, we're presenting 1,923 characters. You know, these are the most iconic Hollywood characters that you know, that we've grown and love. And like your previous question, you know, like who is a celebrity that I've worked with that I've admired, like Tom Hanks. You know, so you know, there's a Forrest Gump Mogi. There's a, you know, there's a, I think there's gonna be a Mogi for every, you know, anyone with different, you know, there's for all the fan bases that are out there. I think people would, yeah, they're going to really enjoy. I think we'll be very pleasantly surprised to see that, you know, even certain characters like in The Sopranos who are just like, wow, he's in there too. You know, I'm a huge fan of sci-fi, you know, and movies like Lord of the Rings, and you know, yeah, it's really exciting. But it's definitely what's there's one thing I'll say that's also it's different about what we're doing. A lot of the NFTs that are being produced with these character sort of you know, based you know, avatars, whatnot. You know, a lot of them are being sort of like automated. You know, there's like AI technology that's used to be created. These Mogis, each and every single one are being handcrafted, digitally handcrafted and modeled. There is no automation in any of these Mogis.
That's
There's literally, it goes through the process of, you know, we have our 2D department who are designers who are basically getting out the references, you know, with each celebrity. You know, that's the first part. Then it goes to the basically the design part, right? And then after the design, and then it goes through through our people who are actually doing the sculpting. You know, after you do the sculpting, then it actually goes to the rendering, and it's just you know, like if there are certain parts that have metallic finishes and you know, stuff that's probably a little more matte finish. So it's a, you know, it's like a 8-step process, and then you know, eventually when we get to the, you know, as we get into the animation, you know, all the characters will be rigged. So it's not like, it's not just like you know, it's there's like there's human hands, there's heart and love and passion going behind every single one of these guys.
yeah.
And
And I was going to jump in there. If anyone's kind of half not sure what we're talking about, wants more information as we're doing the interview, there's a great little teaser trailer on YouTube called Mogul Mogi. So you can have a look at, and you'll kind of just get a little bit of an idea of just a little bit of the flavor. But this is also kind of like a world first in the NFT character driven space, isn't it, Eric?
yes, absolutely. And we're really excited to get into, you know, into the oh boy, how much can we talk about? Can we just spill the beans, or we just have to
You can talk
but
about anything you like. Yeah. Anything.
but yeah, getting into the whole animated, you know, and the animated content, I think that's the one thing that we're really most excited, because we're just going to be able to create, um, you know, I mean, we're able to mix and, you know, different characters from different worlds all into one.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless, and it's sort of like kind of like that what if question, like, hey, what if, you know, what if we had these other characters? You're like, okay, like we're used to seeing like you know, like the Marvel characters, and they're like, hey, what if Gandalf actually showed up?
Right. Right. Right.
Things kind of like switch, use his magical powers. You know, it just goes on and on. So
And for these NFTs, can you talk a little bit about the opportunities then for people to be able to buy them, or what you see as the value as opposed to a regular, you know, what's exciting for a Mogi for you?
well, that's the thing, is that these are they come to life. You know, they're gonna come to life. They're gonna, you know, I think it's like you know, it's like your opportunity. Like if you want to, you know, you can be Batman. I think in this whole, you know, in this, you know, in this multiverse world that we're creating. Um, and it's you know, it's like, you know, if anything, like, you know, as we you know, as people kind of like in the cosplay world, you know, I mean, geez, if we talk about Halloween, right? It's that connection. It's that you know, I'm, you know, I'm you know, I would want to get the crusty you know,
Sure.
Mowgli, because he's the character I relate to. You know, he's sort of like that extension of myself. And
Yeah.
so, you know, so the thing is, it's like to sort of play out that, you know, I guess we're digitally cosplaying, right? And it's I mean, it's really, I think we're just really on the cusp of 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 really what, you know, of so much to come, and we're learning as we go too. Because again, there's no, you know, this metaverse world. It's definitely, it's something that it's new. It's, I think it's exciting. It's very engaging, and
Yeah.
it's you know, it is a bit of an uncharted territory, but at the same time, yes and no. You know, I've been playing video games since I was, you know, 5 years old when the old Nintendo, original Nintendo came out. And I'm a huge like video game fanatic, and I've gone through probably almost every single video game console on the market since Atari.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and so I think, you know, diving into that digital, you know, in the video game space in the digital world, you know, it's just a nice way of sort of escapism, and you know, and now as games have gotten so much more sophisticated, the role playing, and you know, with the Fortnites that are out there, you know, you just kind of like you know, you connect with your character, and you role play through your character, and so it's, you know, now you're able to role play through your this iconic character. You're able to, you know, be able to
Yeah.
purchase through Mogul. So it's, um, you know, I'm quite excited, and actually see, obviously with the rest of the Mogul team, you know, as you guys sort of continue to build out the vision, you know, we really are just, I feel like we're like the hands, you know, to just sort of put the vision together, right? And you know, with our expert, you know, artists, animators, you know, we're able to sort of bring these guys to life.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're thrilled. We're thrilled to have you guys in the capacity that we've got, and just to be a part of it. And for anyone out there as well in the chat, again, mogulproductions.com, Erick Tran, we're talking with here. A quick question just off that, because I was talking to Mary Seek VR last week, and the idea of obviously where things are at right now. Where do you see animation in Hollywood in the next 5 years? Where do you think it's going to start to churn to?
Wow, I think it's exactly going to where we are headed right now. You know, I think it's in that whole NFT, you know, metaverse space. I think it's going to be, I think it's, well, definitely, you know, Netflix is not going, you know, it's not going anywhere. You know, digital streaming is, you know, is definitely here to stay. I think it's one of those things too, when you kind of sort of gain that, you know, like if you have, you know, that exclusivity, you know, on gaining access to certain content, it's kind of like, yeah, dude, I like, you know, there's only so many tickets to go to Coachella. There's only
Right.
so many tickets to go to a Travis Scott concert, right? But I think like, but when you open, it's sort of like you know, and I think obviously the, you know, the pandemic has, I think it just sort of really sort of fast forward, you know, the digital, you know, I guess the metaverse world,
Yeah.
and I think you know, like right now we're all, you know, we're here communicating through, you know, this digital
We're doing
platform.
something like 3 years ago, people probably just would have looked at you blankly and said, you know, like you want to do
Exactly.
what on
Yeah.
your phone? Yeah.
Absolutely, but I think with animation, it's like, you know, we look, we're already, you know, we're working with Universal with VR technology. We're working with you guys, obviously, with you know, with the whole NFT space and the metaverse world. I think it's just, you know, at the end of the day, everything is always going to be character and story driven. You know, as long as that always sort of remains sort of the structure of everything that holds together.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't really depend what medium it's going to be, but you know, I think at the end of the day, you know, it's kind of funny, but like even though we're going a lot of the technical stuff that we're kind of like going over, it's like uh, there's still very traditional fundamentals uh, that were applied back when you're animating Bambi and Pinocchio,
Sure.
you know, and so the thing is, there's an art to bringing characters to life, and you know, sort of just having. I think that, you know, once, that's the one thing I really always totally believe, is that when you do things definitely with the heart, you know, you got you really, I think people are going to definitely feel, you know, like how the love and the passion and all the hard work is going to be really permeated into every single of these designs. And so that's, you know, that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah, and I think it's just a really exciting space, the NFT space right now. You know, from my personal side of things and from the mobile side, you know, what's happened, say, 2 years ago, talking about NFTs to now, has just been a snowball effect. You know, the music industry's embraced it. The film industry's now seeing all these opportunities.
Mm.
And I think it's, again, it's kind of the timing thing, like you said, you know, maybe not getting out of prison, maybe not getting out of prison, but more just you know, slicing or pivoting from your current business model and looking at, hey, these are NFTs and this is the future. We didn't do them before, but they work now. Got time for just a couple more questions, Eric. I actually wrote down a question because someone asked me to ask you when they heard I was interviewing you. They wanted to know, how long does it take to make a Simpsons episode?
Oh boy, we're talking at least about approximately around roughly 6 months, I believe.
For one episode of The Simpsons?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're with an army of animators and artists here in the U.S. and also the overseas over in South Korea.
Okay. And the other question is, what's your day-to-day look like in your position as basically, you know, within the animation field that you work? What does your average day compose of?
Well, I mean, first thing in the morning is check my messages, you know, going through emails, seeing, you know, what has been completed. We got like spreadsheets, you know, of just production. You know, I have to go. So I wear several hats. You know, I have like you know, first thing I think I do is I put on my producer hat and just kind of going over, you know, just numbers, seeing what the status are on, you know, on these groups of, you know, of Mogis at the moment, and then, you know, what has, you know, what's been approved on 2D that's ready to go into CG. And then I will go ahead, and if I feel like, you know, like, okay, I have certain notes, and then I put my artist hat on, and I actually can start drawing on this guy here, which is, you know, I got a digital here, Cintiq here, where, you know, I would just make notes and then hand it over to our 2D supervisor and have her just like, okay, just take care of this revision before it goes to CG. Then we have, you know, we have an animation team that right now we already started doing some preliminary like animation tests, which I think everyone over there on the team, you know, was really excited to see, you know, these preliminary like, you know, Mogi tests.
They were fantastic.
Yeah, thanks. And I think, you know, I think it's just, you know, and then basically through the day, it's just going just one by one. And it's like you know, it does take time. And so so that's basically what we do. Obviously we have our, you know, we break for donuts and pizza. Animators, yeah, that's how we survive on.
It's a good life. It's a good life.
Yeah, it's donuts, pizza, sushi, whatever you want, we got it. You know, it's but basically, yeah, I mean, it's really like that. It's just day and night. The crazy thing is that we love it, and it's like, you know, we're passionate about it, and it's I think that, you know, what really fuels us is just not only just the opportunity, but I feel like, you know, just being part of the NFT community, you know, which that's a huge thing, you know, and
space, you talk about the space with the animators. Obviously you guys have a close relationship, you've worked together, you've done that. You know, I mean, you know, being at Mogul and looking into the sort of the blockchain and the crypto side and the NFT side, you do find that it's quietly closely linked as well. I mean, people like to reach out and actually be connected, you know, not always just keeping to themselves. And also congratulations though. I mean, the work that you've really speaks for itself. So these Mogis that are coming up, I mean, they're going to be spectacular, and I can't wait to kind of interview you again and talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. No, thank you for having me here. And yeah, this is just the beginning of what I really believe is going to be an exciting 2022.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to say just before we wrap the interview? Is there any shout outs or anything else you'd like to?
Well, I mean, literally shout out to our entire Chavo team. You know, you were all, you know, doing an amazing job, and you know, we're just kind of like all in this together. And I really believe that, you know, this is just a really interesting time to be alive.
Oh yeah. And if I heard you correctly as well with the Mogis, your favorite is the Forrest Gump.
Well, Forrest, yeah, he's definitely, you know, that's you know, I got that connection with Tom, but yeah, I mean, there's just so much more. I kind of don't want to that I do want to sort of like I don't want to spoil the surprise, but it's I think everyone's definitely gonna be in for a treat for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's been such a pleasure to chat with you. Huge fan. Love the work you've done, but also can't wait to show everybody what we're doing with these Mogis coming up. Erick, thanks again for your time, and we have to get you back.
Yeah,
we'd love to know about what you've been.
I'm hoping to fly up to Toronto really soon. So and you got to pay a visit there.
Have a safe flight. Great to see you, Eric. Thanks everyone for coming in the chat today. The interview will be live on the Instagram page as well in a couple of minutes. Talk to you all soon. Talk to you soon, Eric. Thanks
All
again.
right, you guys all take care. All right.
Bye, guys.